Do you feel like you don't speak enough French? That you need to know more words? Then stick around. With these lessons, you'll pick up some of the most common words in just a few minutes. Now, this video is a small portion of our learning program. To get the full lessons, translations, and Fluency Fast study tools, click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account.
Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about the top 10 most common tourist vocabulary. Let's begin. Ticket, 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 ticket. For example, you can hear Je vais vérifier votre ticket, monsieur. I am going to check your ticket, sir. So this happens a lot when you're in a train. Somebody's going to come up to you and ask for your ticket. Touriste, tourist. Touriste, tourist. Les touristes français sont bruyants. French tourists are noisy. I don't know why you're saying that. Not true. Itinéraire, itinerary. Itinéraire, itinerary. Je dois planifier mon itinéraire. I need to plan my itinerary. Yeah, I love to do that myself. Like, I spend maybe 2 months before of my time to look for stuff. Guide touristique, guidebook. Guide touristique, guidebook. C'est recommandé dans le guide touristique. It is recommended in the guidebook. Bus touristique, tour bus. Bus touristique, tour bus. Ce bus touristique est plein à craquer. This tour bus is packed. When I visit new cities, I usually use tour buses, like when I went to Chicago, for example. That's pretty cool. You can see like sightseeing and stuff like that. Temple, 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 temple. Il y a de très beaux temples au Japon. There are beautiful temples in Japan. I have never been, so I cannot confirm about that, but yeah, maybe. Mosquée, mosque. Mosquée, mosque. Il y a une mosquée très célèbre à Istanbul. There is a very famous mosque in Istanbul. Église, church. Église, church. Cette famille va à l'église tous les dimanches. This family goes to church every Sunday. Yes, that is really important. Do it. Cascade, waterfall. Cascade, waterfall. Il a pris une jolie cascade en photo. He took a picture of a beautiful waterfall. Yeah, I would love to go to the Niagara Falls.
Niagara.
Oh my gosh! Okay, so put it again. How do you say?
Niagara.
Niagara?
Yeah.
Niagara? But this really? Visiter. To tour. Visiter. To tour. Ma famille va visiter Rome l'année prochaine. My family will visit Rome next year. I haven't been to Rome, but I have been to Milano and Venezia. Beautiful. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Which phrase did you like the most? Leave us a comment letting us know. Hi everyone! I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about 10 ways to motivate yourself when learning French. Let's begin! Je m'imagine qu'un jour j'irai visiter ou habiter en France. I imagine that one day I will visit or live in France. France has many beautiful cities with nice things to see and good food. Whether it's just for sightseeing or living, it's really worth it. J'étudie également d'autres aspects de la langue, ce qui rend l'apprentissage du français plus enrichissant. I also study other aspects of the culture, which makes it more rewarding to study French. It's always interesting to compare your own culture to others, to understand why things are the way they are. By doing research, you can avoid certain culture shocks while traveling. J'aime trouver des mots drôles en apprenant le français. I like to find funny words in French. It's easier to remember words when you associate them with something. Je deviens ami avec des personnes qui parlent le français. I make friends with people who speak French. It's really helpful to talk to native speakers, especially those who don't understand your mother tongue, as it forces you to speak. It's a very good way to improve your speaking skills. Je regarde les vidéos YouTube de personnes ayant appris le français avec succès. I watch YouTube videos from other people who have successfully learned French. It's always good to get some advice from other people who have been there. Since everybody is different, you might find some things easier and other things harder than they do. J'aime utiliser le français pour passer des commandes dans des restaurants français. I enjoy using French to order at French restaurants. If the waiters and waitresses are native speakers, they might be impressed, and it's a good way to practice ordering food because you will need it if you go to France. Je regarde des films et séries françaises et suis content ou contente quand je peux apprendre un mot ou une phrase. I watch French movies and TV shows and enjoy the feeling I get when I can understand a word or a sentence. Watching movies and TV shows is good for hearing native French, things you don't learn at school and common expressions. If you enjoy watching French shows and movies, you won't feel like it's studying. It will just be fun. Being motivated is the best way to learn. J'ai changé la langue de mon téléphone portable, je l'utilise en français maintenant. I changed the language on my cell phone. I use it in French now. It helps you learn some useful vocabulary from everyday life. Je lis des livres pour enfants en français. I read books for children in French. Children's books have a lot of difficult French words, so it's a good way to learn many new words. J'écris ma liste de courses en français. I write my shopping list in French. This makes both studying French and shopping fun. Je suis des recettes françaises quand je cuisine. Okay, that's all about 10 ways to motivate yourself when learning French.
Tu viens au centre Georges Pompidou ?
Le centre Georges Pompidou? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
C'est un musée d'art moderne.
Et Georges Pompidou? Qui c'est?
Oh là là, c'est un président français. Vous êtes étudiant ?
Pardon? Ah oui.
Vous êtes étudiant à l'université ?
Oui. Et vous, qu'est-ce que vous faites?
Je suis comédienne.
Du cinéma?
Non, de théâtre.
Chut! Regarde le film.
Moi, Jeanne. Toi, Tarzan.
Hein?
Moi, Jeanne. Toi, Tarzan. Tu comprends le français?
Pardon? Je ne comprends pas.
Tu comprends le français?
Lentement, s'il te plaît.
Tu comprends le français?
Ah oui, un peu.
Tu habites à Paris ?
Oui, j'habite à Belleville. Et toi?
Non, je n'habite pas à Paris.
Tu habites où?
À Toulouse.
D'où tu es?
Moi, je suis de Klein-Frankenheim.
Frankenstein? Tu es allemand?
C'est Klein-Frankenheim. Non, je suis français.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, while I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I express doubt or uncertainty? In English, we usually use modal verbs to express doubt or uncertainty, like might or would. French, however, doesn't have modal verbs. You have to use completely different constructions. Let's start with might, as in I might go to the party. The easiest way to do this is to simply add the adverb peut-être, meaning maybe. So you would get je vais peut-être à la fête. Another way to say might or may is to use il se peut que plus the subjunctive. For example, il se peut que la voiture soit en panne, meaning it is possible that the car is broken down, or the car might be broken down. But be careful, if you want to say something might have happened in the past, you have to use past subjunctive. So, for example, il se peut que je l'ai lu. This means I might have read it, or it's possible that I've read it. Let's move on to could and take the sentence I could eat a whale. In this case, you're speaking about something you could do in the future. So you use the conditional of the verb can, which is pouvoir. And you get je pourrais manger une baleine. But let's say you want to talk about something you could have done in the past. In this case, you would use pouvoir in the past perfect. For example, j'aurais pu manger une baleine, meaning I could have eaten a whale. Now, let's look at would. You probably already know this form in the present tense. For example, je voudrais le croque-monsieur. I would like the croque-monsieur. This is the conditional present. You may also remember it from a previous lesson about if statements. For example, on partirait si vous étiez prêt, meaning we would leave if you were ready. This is case 2, an unlikely situation that could come true if something else happened first. If you want to say that you would have in the past, then just conjugate the verb in the conditional perfect. For example, j'aurais voulu un croque-monsieur, meaning I would have liked a croque-monsieur. Finally, let's talk about should. Should is conjugated as the conditional of the verb devoir, meaning to have to or must. Then you add the infinitive of the verb that you should have done. For example, je devrais manger, meaning I should eat. Or on devrait partir, meaning we should leave. This is a very helpful construction. So make sure to memorize the conditional present tense of devoir. If you want to talk about something you should have done, conjugate devoir in the conditional perfect. I should have eaten would be j'aurais dû manger. We should have left would be on aurait dû partir. You should have memorized it would be vous auriez dû le mémoriser. And that's it. I hope that helped. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I try to answer them. À bientôt. See you soon.
Welcome to Fun and Easy French by FrenchPod101.com. Do you know that there are gestures you probably do all of the time on every occasion, but are considered rude and offensive in France? Salut, je suis Laurine. Hi everyone, I'm Laurine. In this lesson, you learn all about French body gesture. Sometimes, gestures help us understand people and express ourselves better than the words we speak. If you want to meet new friends, be comfortable around French people, and communicate without being offensive or rude, learning the specifics of French body language and gestures is definitely something that will benefit you. In this video, you'll learn 1. Greeting gestures 2. Positive gestures 3. Negative gestures 4. Neutral gestures 5. The reason why the French are so rude and 6. How FrenchPod 101 can help you. Let's start with verbal greetings and their gestures. There are different body gestures when greeting someone in France. Let's start with bonjour, hello, bonjour, bonjour. You can say this while raising your hands and waving your hands from side to side with a swaying motion. It's used in informal situations to greet or say goodbye when you don't feel like doing handshakes or kisses or you're out of arm reach of the people you know. It's a very common hand gesture used by the French. Another way to greet someone is by saying bienvenue, welcome, bienvenue, bienvenue. You can do this at a casual event by opening up your arms and spreading them with a smile. For formal occasions, open only one arm with a smile. This is how you greet your friends or peers in a warm and enthusiastic way. You can also greet your French friend through la bise, which means the kiss. La bise. La bise. Just lean forward and slightly brush cheeks with the other person while mimicking a kiss with the sound and lips gesture. Then switch cheeks and repeat. If you want se serrer la main, which means to shake hands, you can do so by reaching towards someone's hand and doing 1 or 2 up and down movements while looking at the person you're greeting straight in the eye. Se serrer la main. Se serrer la main. Shaking hands is common among friends, colleagues, or strangers in France. Next is positive gestures. Let's learn about French expressions and gestures that tend to have positive connotation. You'll surely find them useful next time you visit in France. First is oui. Yes, excellent. Oui. Oui. You can add this by taking a fist and extending your thumbs upward. A thumbs up gesture in France is an all-time classic. Although, if you're from the UK and US, be careful when using OK, where you join your index and thumbs to make a circle. In several European countries, including France, it's a negative meaning, zero, or worthless. Another positive gesture commonly used in France is related to the expression ça va être génial. It's gonna be great. Ça va être génial. Ça va être génial. You just have to rub your palms together when doing this. But you're probably wondering what makes it a positive gesture when it can mean that you're cold. Depending on the context, rubbing your palms together usually convey that you're exciting or expecting something amazing. For example, you do this gesture when you're expecting to make good money or before eating gorgeous-looking meal. Délicieux is also type of positive gesture in France. It means delicious. Délicieux. Délicieux. It can be done by kissing the joint tips of your finger when joyfully spreading them outward. This gesture is also known as the Italian chef kiss. You can use it when your French host is serving you a delicious, authentic French meal. Next is negative gestures. There are also negative gestures in French or actions that are considered to be rude. Let's get into them right away. The first negative gesture is related to bof, which means something like I don't care, I don't know, I'm not sure. Bof. Bof. It's done by spreading your arms open with palms up, then raising and lowering your shoulders. This infamous Gaelic shrug has many different meanings, so it's not the easiest one to pick up. You can use it when you're feeling indifferent, doubtful, or indecisive, but it can express a wide range of messages. It's not my fault, there is nothing I can do, don't ask me, and more. You can also use bof if you don't want to commit to a straight answer. For example, je t'offre un verre? Can I offer you a drink? Je t'offre un verre? Je t'offre un verre? You can answer with bof. C'est pas mon problème. Not my problem. Not my fault. C'est pas mon problème. C'est pas mon problème. This is another negative gesture that you might want to avoid doing.
In this gesture, people raise their hands slightly over their shoulder, palms toward the other person, with their head and shoulder defensively held back. It's a bit similar to the buff shrug, but is perceived as a stronger version where, instead of being indifferent or indecisive, you just don't want anything to do with whatever you're asked for. Quelle barbe! What a drag! Boring! Or literally, what a beard! Quelle barbe! Quelle barbe! This is also a negative gesture in France. It's done by stroking your cheek a few times with the back of your fingers, like you're caressing your beard. This negative gesture comes from old Parisian slang and is only one of many beard-related French idioms. You use this when you feel bored or are annoyed with the people around you, but you're in a situation where you're not allowed to curse. For example, you are assigned to do a tedious task at work. You can turn to your coworkers and stroke your imaginary beard. Another example of a negative gesture is mon œil, meaning I don't believe you, I highly doubt that. Mon œil, mon œil. It's done by using your index finger and pulling down the bottom lid of one eye. This is the French version of the American my foot, to playfully express your disbelief or accuse someone of lying. This is a childish gesture though, so it's not really a good gesture for serious arguments or business negotiations. If you're feeling fed up or have had enough of something really terrible, you may use j'en ai ras-le-bol, which means I'm fed up, I've had enough. J'en ai ras-le-bol. J'en ai ras-le-bol. When translated literally, it just means my bowl is full. But in a French slang, it has unique meaning. When doing it, you can just swipe your hand up horizontally over your head. Combined with an eloquent frown, you can use it to express your annoyance when trouble is spinning way up over your head. Next is neutral gestures. Now, it's time to learn some neutral gestures commonly used in France. They will help you respond appropriately or express yourself without getting misinterpreted. First on the list is shh, shh, keep quiet, shh, shh. This is done by simply extending your index finger and placing it vertically across your mouth. Shh. You probably already know what this gesture means, but since it can take different forms in some countries, it's worth mentioning. Viens, come here. Viens, viens is a neutral expression done by extending up your index finger, palm up, and folding it inward. It can also be done with all finger at once. Because this isn't as obvious as it may seem, it should be performed properly. For example, if you use the Japanese palm down version, in France, it can be interpreted as rude and disrespectful. Another neutral gesture you may want to practice is comme ci, comme ça. So, more or less. Comme ci, comme ça. Comme ci, comme ça. Just place your hand in front of you, palm down, and tip it from left to right several times. This convenient gesture can be used in a formal or casual situation. For example, if you're having a bad day and someone asks how you're going, you can use this gesture to respond. Another French gesture that can express a wide variety of emotion ranging from surprise to annoyance, distress, or disappointment is oh la la, meaning oh no, wow, oh la la, oh la la. You can do it by raising your hand in front of your chest and shaking it loosely, as if trying to revive your numb fingers. You can also use it when you're impressed or if someone is in trouble. One funny gesture used to let people know that you're drunk or to raise their awareness of the intoxication of third party is avoir un coup dans le nez. To be drunk. Avoir un coup dans le nez. Avoir un coup dans le nez. Literally, it means to have a drink in the nose. It's done by placing a loose fist around the tip of your nose and rotate it as if trying to unscrew it. Another example of a neutral gesture is c'est pas donné. It's expensive. C'est pas donné. C'est pas donné. Literally, it means it's not given. But this informal gesture works in many situations where lots of money is involved. It's most commonly used for something expensive, but can also mean that something is lucrative. For example, when reading the menu of a pricey restaurant, you could use this gesture toward your friends to tell them you can't afford it, and if you all could find a cheaper restaurant. Just rub your thumbs against the tips of your index and middle finger when doing this gesture. The last example of a neutral gesture is il est fou, elle est cinglée. He's crazy, she's nuts. Il est fou, elle est cinglée. Il est fou, elle est cinglée. It's done by tapping the side of your head with the tip of your index finger. It's a bit similar to the American crazy gesture that will also be understood in France. Obviously, this is a very informal gesture and could be offensive to strangers, so only use it around your friends for humor. Next is why the French are so rude. Don't believe the rumor. French people aren't rude, but still we can't help but wonder, why do some people assume this? France remains one of the top tourism destinations in the world, so where did the rude assumption come from? Allow us to share two different explanations for this. The first reason is body language and perception. Body language is a big deal, more than you can imagine, both around the world and in French culture. Your posture and attitude speak volumes, and people form an opinion right away based on your gestures. For example, French people are more controlled than Americans in terms of body language. Their shoulder and arms stay close to the body, their chest straight in overall rigidity. The French look at it as an expression of restraint, but some call it being tense or stiff, which contributes to this impression of the French being cold and unwelcoming. Another reason is the intonation and gestures. Whatever space French people are taking when they move, they compensate for it when they talk. They use physical gestures to express a wide range of emotions without words, mostly using their face and hands, and it's easy to get the wrong impression if you don't know the language nor the gestures. Since the natural French intonation is also widely guilty of this impression, it makes the French sound angry, using sharp or abusive sounding tones even though they were only having a friendly debate over lunch. Now on to Part 5. How can French Pod 101 help you? By teaching you French and getting you to speak from your very first lesson. French Pod 101 lesson build you up from your first words to mastering entire conversations. And you get lessons for all levels from absolute beginner to advanced. Enough to take you from knowing zero to speaking fluently. You can also learn with your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll correct your French, tell you how to improve your speaking, writing, and grammar, and even help you practice for job interviews in French. In this lesson, you learned different types of positive, negative, and neutral gestures, as well as how French people differ from other cultures or countries in terms of body language and intonations. So, if you want to speak French and learn in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way, go to FrenchPod101.com and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Get our complete learning program with real lessons by real teachers. That's it for today. À la prochaine. See you next time.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about the 5 most popular French bands. A really great way to learn any language is through its music. Here are a few famous French bands to check out. Let's begin. The first band is Louise Attaque. Louise Attaque. It really means Louise attacks and refers to the French anarchist woman Louise Michel, who was active in the 19th century. Louise Attaque est un groupe de pop-rock français formé en 1994. Louise Attaque is a pop-rock band founded in 1994. Yeah, I remember my sister listening to them. I don't think I really like them actually. Noir Désir. Noir Désir. One of their best sellers is Le Vent nous portera. You should definitely check it out if you haven't yet. Le Vent nous portera. Don't remember. Noir Désir est un groupe de rock de Bordeaux. Noir Désir is a rock band from Bordeaux. Daft Punk. Daft Punk. This group has played an important role in the electronic music history and is known all around the world. Daft Punk est un groupe de musique électronique. Daft Punk is an electronic music band. Yeah, I love Daft Punk. Another great band is Gojira. Gojira. When they formed their band in 1996, the name was Godzilla. They changed it to Gojira in 2001. Gojira est un groupe de métal extrême. Gojira is a heavy metal band. And if you like beats, you love IAM. Oh my gosh, IAM. IAM. IAM is a very famous French hip-hop band from Marseille, formed in 1989. One of their best sellers is Petit Frère. IAM est un groupe de rap. IAM is a rap band. I love IAM. Petit Frère, I don't remember the song, sorry. But you should listen to it. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Did you already know these bands? Do you know any other French bands? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you next time. À bientôt! M. Pokora. Oh my gosh, this guy is so handsome and I love his music. I went to his concert a long time ago. You gotta check him out. He's so handsome, especially if you're a girl. Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about the 5 most popular sports in France. Let's begin. The first sport is tennis. 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 In France, tennis used to be a high-class sport, but is now becoming more and more popular among everyone. Mon colocataire est professeur de tennis. My roommate is a tennis instructor. Yeah, remember watching Juan Carlos Ferrero? Oh my gosh, handsome man. The next is natation, swimming. Natation, swimming. Swimming is very popular in France. Nowadays, one of the most famous French swimmers is Jérémy Stravius. Ma sœur fait de la natation 2 fois par semaine. My sister goes to swimming twice a week. Yeah, that's really good if you want to lose weight and tone at the same time. Rugby, 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 rugby. Rugby is especially popular among men in the southwestern part of France, in cities such as Toulouse or Biarritz. Vous savez jouer au rugby? Do you know how to play rugby? I don't. But it seems like this is kind of the same as you guys. You have, how you call that? The thing?
American football?
American football, exactly.
They're pretty different.
Really? I mean, this is the same ball, but you guys don't have that in America.
You do have it.
Oh, you have that as well. Oh, okay. Next up is football, soccer. Football, soccer. Soccer is definitely the most popular sport in France. Je n'aime pas le football. I don't like soccer. Yeah, France were the world champion in 1998, from what I recall. And I cried, I remember. Yeah, stupid. And then there is cyclisme, cycling. Cyclisme, cycling. This is very famous also because of the Tour de France, which takes place once a year and is one of the most followed cycling races in the world. I've never watched it, this is so boring. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Which sports do you like the most? Let us know by leaving a comment below. And we'll see you next time. À bientôt! I had to play the handball, and I had to play the volleyball, and I had to run and all that stuff, and oh my gosh, I was so bad. Sorry, I'm not a sport person. Even though I look pretty fit, but no, that's not for me.
You are at a train station where you're attempting to buy an express ticket from a ticket machine. Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? The option on the bottom left is for an express ticket.
Billet pour train express.
You are at a train station where you've just bought an express ticket. Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in train car number 1 in the 8th row in seat C.
Voiture 1, rangée 8, place C.
You are at a train station where you're reading the train schedule for an express ticket that you've just bought. On which days are there no express trains running? On which days are there no express trains running? There are no express trains running on public holidays and the third Sunday of every month.
Jour férié, troisième dimanche du mois.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com. You are on a platform at a train station where you're waiting for your train. Suddenly, a message appears on the display. What does the message on the display mean? What does the message on the display mean? The display reads, "The next train will not stop."
Le prochain train ne s'arrêtera pas.
You are at a train station where you're looking for the best exit to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Sortie Est.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I form the future tenses and when should I use them? There are two future tenses in French, the futur proche and futur simple. Proche means near. When we use futur proche, we're talking about the near future, things that will happen soon. Conjugation is easy. We use the present tense of aller, to go, and then add the infinitive. So the verb nager, to swim, becomes je vais nager, meaning I'm going to swim. Tu vas nager, meaning you're going to swim. Il va nager, meaning he's going to swim. And so on. To make the future simple, we add the stem plus the ending. The verb stem for et and ir verbs is just the infinitive. So, the verb stem for nager is nager. The verb stem for finir, to finish, is finir. For re verbs, we drop the i. So, vendre becomes vendre. The endings are very similar to the present conjugation of avoir. They're always the same est, a, on, et, on. However, there are irregular stems which you will have to memorize. We go through the most important ones now, saying the verb, its stem, a sample conjugation, and its translation. Aller, ir, j'irai, I will go. Être, ser, tu seras, you will be. Avoir, aur, il aura, we will have. Pouvoir, pour, nous pourrons, we will be able to. Vouloir, voudre, vous voudrez, you will want to. Venir, viendre, elles viendront, they will come. Savoir, Saur, je saurai. I will know. Faire, faire. Tu feras. You will do or make. Envoyer, envers. Elle enverra. She will send. Okay, so which one should you use? You'll use the futur proche for the near future and futur simple for things that are further in the future. If you are going to go swimming right after this lesson, use futur proche. Je vais nager. If you will swim in the ocean on your vacation in Barcelona, use futur simple. Je nagerai dans la mer. Futur simple is also used in some forms, like if statements. But we will cover those in later lessons, so don't worry about it now. If you use mostly futur proche when speaking, you'll be just fine. Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below, and I try to answer them. À bientôt. See you soon.
Welcome to Fun and Easy French by FrenchPod101.com. Do you know that there are different forms of greeting someone that you just met in French? Salut, je suis Laurine. Hi everyone, I'm Laurine. In this lesson, you'll learn all about how to introduce yourself in French. Learning how to introduce yourself in French is very important when making new French friends, especially if you're looking into leaving a great first impression with them. It's also not necessary for you to be fluent in French when introducing yourself in any situation. You only need to learn the right tips and tricks to make sure people don't forget about you once they get to know you. In this video, you'll learn, first, how to get started when introducing yourself, second, how to learn about each other, then, some specific introduction lines, and finally, how to leave an impression and how FrenchPod 101 can help you. Let's start with how to get started. Do you want to make friends with the people in France and create a long-lasting first impression? Then, you need to know what formal greetings in French are. There is a French etiquette that you need to follow when greeting someone in French. Here's the first useful word. Bonjour. Hello or good day. Bonjour. Bonjour is used from morning to sundown. It's not too formal nor too relaxed. Another way to start a conversation is by greeting someone with bonsoir, good evening. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. It's the nighttime version of bonjour and can be used professionally and with your friends. You may also greet by saying salut, hi, salut, salut. It's the casual version of bonjour that you can use at any time of the day. There are two forms of you in French. Vous, vous, vous for formal encounters or when meeting someone for the first time, and tu, tu, tu for more casual interaction or when meeting friends and acquaintances. Another formal greeting in French is shaking someone's hand or using la bise, the kiss. La bise. What are the differences? Let me explain. La bise, or the typical French custom of kissing on the cheeks, can be used when greeting someone of the opposite sex in a casual way, for example, after using salut and tu. But if you're not sure what to do, go for a handshake instead. Next is useful expressions to learn about each other. Now, let's learn about the classic questions and answers that usually come up when you meet someone. Others will not only get to know you, but you'll be able to get to know them as well. But before we begin, you first need to remember that questions have two forms, formal and casual. Answers, on the other hand, mostly have one form only. Let's start with the question, what's your name? Giving your name or asking someone's name in French uses the verb s'appeler. 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 The casual form of what's your name is comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Or tu t'appelles comment? Tu t'appelles comment? Tu t'appelles comment? The formal form, on the other hand, is comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Here's an example of an answer. Je m'appelle Bob. My name is Bob. Je m'appelle Bob. Je m'appelle Bob. It literally means I call myself Bob. This is the most common way to state your name, and it works in both formal and casual situations. Now, it's your turn to ask the same question. You can casually say et toi and you, et toi, or formally say et vous and you, et vous, et vous. When you're being asked back in a casual situation, you can answer moi, c'est Bob. I'm Bob. Moi, c'est Bob. Moi, c'est Bob. Next, I'm going to teach you how to ask and answer back in French with the question, where are you from? The casual form of this question is like this. D'où tu viens? Where are you from? D'où tu viens? Other forms are tu viens d'où? Tu viens d'où? Or tu es d'où? Tu es d'où? Another example is de quel pays tu viens? From what country are you from? De quel pays tu viens? De quel pays tu viens? Or, tu es de quelle nationalité? What is your nationality? Tu es de quelle nationalité? Tu es de quelle nationalité? The formal way, on the other hand, is like this. D'où venez-vous? Where are you from? D'où venez-vous? D'où venez-vous? Or, de quel pays venez-vous? From what country are you from? De quel pays venez-vous? De quel pays venez-vous? Another example is quelle est votre nationalité? What is your nationality? Quelle est votre nationalité? Quelle est votre nationalité? If you're from another country, like China, you can answer with the Je viens de Chine. I'm coming from China. Je viens de Chine. Je viens de Chine. Or, je suis chinois if you're male. Je suis chinoise if you're female. It means I am Chinese. Je suis chinois or je suis chinoise. If you feel like giving the city where you're currently living, you can say Je viens de Paris. I'm from Paris. Je viens de Paris. Je viens de Paris. Or, j'habite à Paris. I'm living in Paris. J'habite à Paris. J'habite à Paris. Next up, we're going to learn the casual and formal way of asking the question, what's your profession? And how to answer it in French. Don't worry, in France, it's very common to ask about other people's job in the early conversation. So, feel free to ask this question or answer back if you're being asked. The casual way of asking about someone's profession is like this. Tu fais quoi dans la vie? What are you doing in life? Tu fais quoi dans la vie? Tu fais quoi dans la vie? Or, tu fais quel métier? What is your job? Tu fais quel métier? Tu fais quel métier? In a formal setting, you can ask it like this. Quel travail faites-vous? What is your occupation? Quel travail faites-vous? Quel travail faites-vous? If you're being asked about your profession, you can answer in any of these ways. Je suis étudiante. I'm a student. Je suis étudiante. Je suis étudiante. Or, j'étudie la biologie. I'm studying biology. J'étudie la biologie. J'étudie la biologie. Another one is je travaille dans l'informatique. I'm working in IT. Je travaille dans l'informatique. Je travaille dans l'informatique. You can also answer with je suis dans la finance. I'm working in finance. Je suis dans la finance. Je suis dans la finance. Or, if you're a carpenter, you can say je suis charpentier. I'm a carpenter. Je suis charpentier. Je suis charpentier. By the way, the keywords here are travail or métier, which means occupation or profession. Travail or métier. During casual conversations, you can replace them with some slang expressions. For example, boulot, boulot, boulot. Or taf, taf, taf. Or job, job, job. When meeting someone for the first time, asking about their family isn't really too common. But just in case someone asks you, you might as well learn how to ask or answer it in French. Here are some examples in casual French. Tu es marié? Are you married? Tu es marié? Tu es marié? Tu as des enfants? Do you have kids? Tu as des enfants? Tu as des enfants? Tu as des frères et sœurs? Do you have brothers and sisters? Tu as des frères et sœurs? Tu as des frères et sœurs? In a formal setting, you can ask it this way. Vous êtes marié? Are you married? Vous êtes marié? Vous êtes marié? Vous avez des enfants? Do you have kids? Vous avez des enfants? Vous avez des enfants? Vous avez des frères et sœurs? Do you have brothers and sisters? Vous avez des frères et sœurs? Vous avez des frères et sœurs? Then, you may find yourself answering in any of these ways. Oui, je suis marié. Yes, I'm married. Oui, je suis marié. Oui, je suis marié. Non, je suis célibataire. No, I'm single. Non, je suis célibataire. Non, je suis célibataire. Non, je suis divorcé. No, I'm divorced. Non, je suis divorcé. Non, je suis divorcé. J'ai 2 enfants. I have 2 kids. J'ai 2 enfants. J'ai 2 enfants. J'ai un petit frère et une grande sœur. I have a little brother and a big sister. J'ai un petit frère et une grande sœur. J'ai un petit frère et une grande sœur. French people are a bit more sensitive about asking someone else's age, especially for women. But if you meet a young girl or a woman who's comfortable about answering just about any questions, then you may ask about her age. The casual way of asking someone's age is Tu as quel âge? How old are you? Tu as quel âge? Tu as quel âge? Asking in a formal manner is Quel âge avez-vous? Quel âge avez-vous? Quel âge avez-vous? Then, you can answer it with J'ai 30 ans. I'm 30 years old. J'ai 30 ans. J'ai 30 ans. Next question you may ask or might be asked of you is a question about your hobbies. The casual way of asking is C'est quoi tes hobbies? Or passe-temps? What are your hobbies? C'est quoi tes hobbies? Passe-temps? C'est quoi tes hobbies? Passe-temps? Or you can also ask Tu fais quoi de ton temps libre? What do you do with your free time? Tu fais quoi de ton temps libre? Tu fais quoi de ton temps libre? The formal way, on the other hand, is Quels sont vos hobbies? What are your hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Or, que faites-vous de votre temps libre? What do you do with your free time? Que faites-vous de votre temps libre? The formal way, on the other hand, is Quels sont vos hobbies? What are your hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Quels sont vos hobbies? Or, que faites-vous de votre temps libre? What do you do with your free time? Que faites-vous de votre temps libre? Que faites-vous de votre temps libre? Here are some examples of answering this question in French. Je joue au tennis. I'm playing tennis. Je joue au tennis. Je joue au tennis. Je joue du piano. I'm playing piano. Je joue du piano. Je joue du piano. Je passe mes nuits sur HBO. I spend my nights on HBO. Je passe mes nuits sur HBO. Je passe mes nuits sur HBO. J'écris un journal de voyage. I'm writing a travel diary. J'écris un journal de voyage. J'écris un journal de voyage. Next, let's see some specific introduction lines. Now that you know the most common questions and answers in French, let's now start learning how to introduce yourself with useful French phrases in certain situations. When traveling, you may find yourself conversing with friendly locals. The conversation could go this way. Tu voyages depuis longtemps? You're being asked. Have you been traveling for a long time? Tu voyages depuis longtemps? Tu voyages depuis longtemps? Then, you can answer with Je voyage depuis 2 mois. I have been traveling for 2 months. Je voyage depuis 2 mois. Je voyage depuis 2 mois. If you are asked, Tu as visité quel autre pays? What other countries did you visit? Tu as visité quel autre pays? Tu as visité quel autre pays? You can answer with Je suis allé en Espagne et en Italie. I have been to Spain and Italy. Je suis allé en Espagne et en Italie. Je suis allé en Espagne et en Italie. But what about when you're meeting with your coworkers? You may be asked, Tu travailles dans quel service? Which means, in which division are you working? Tu travailles dans quel service? Tu travailles dans quel service? Then, you can answer with Je travaille aux ressources humaines. I'm working with HR. Je travaille aux ressources humaines. Je travaille aux ressources humaines. Another question could be Tu bosses sur quoi en ce moment? What are you working on right now? Tu bosses sur quoi en ce moment? Tu bosses sur quoi en ce moment? You may answer it with Je viens de commencer un nouveau projet. I have just started working on a new project. Je viens de commencer un nouveau projet. Je viens de commencer un nouveau projet. When you're in a casual social event, someone might ask you, Tu fais quoi demain soir? What are you doing tomorrow night? Tu fais quoi demain soir? Tu fais quoi demain soir? You may answer with Je vais au cinéma avec un pote. I'm going to a movie with a pal. Je vais au cinéma avec un pote. Je vais au cinéma avec un pote. Another question you may come across is Tu as un copain? Or Tu as une copine? Do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend? Tu as un copain? Tu as une copine? Tu as un copain? Or Tu as une copine? You may answer with Non, on a rompu il y a 2 semaines. No, we broke up 2 weeks ago. Non, on a rompu il y a 2 semaines. Non, on a rompu il y a 2 semaines. Another situation you might get into while in France is participating in a family meeting. So, if a family member asks you, Vous vous êtes rencontrés comment? Meaning, how did you meet? Vous vous êtes rencontrés comment? Vous vous êtes rencontrés comment? You can answer it with J'ai rencontré Julie à l'université. I met Julie at the university. J'ai rencontré Julie à l'université. J'ai rencontré Julie à l'université. Another question that you might be asked of you is Comment tu connais Bastien? How do you know Bastien? Comment tu connais Bastien? Comment tu connais Bastien? You may answer it with On travaille ensemble. We work together. On travaille ensemble. On travaille ensemble. Next is how to leave an impression. We would like to share with you a couple of tips that you can use if you want to leave a great impression when making new friends. The first tip is to never make it all about yourself. When someone asks something about you, there's really no need to tell that person everything about you. It will make you more interesting and appealing if you let that person find out what else you can offer or can do. Talk less about yourself. Ask them questions instead. Learn more about their culture or find what they like to do. Focus on getting to know them more. It will make them feel you are interested in them and they will soon feel comfortable to be around you. Another thing you may want to do if you want to leave a great impression is showing your interest by dropping a word of appreciation once you hear that person's name. This can take different forms. Here are some examples. Enchanté, which means delighted. Enchanté, enchanté. Ravi de vous rencontrer, or heureux, or heureuse de vous rencontrer. Happy to meet you. Ravi de vous rencontrer, or heureux, or heureuse de vous rencontrer. Ravi de vous rencontrer, or heureux, or heureuse de vous rencontrer. C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer. It's a pleasure to meet you. C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer. C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer. You can cut it down to un plaisir de vous rencontrer. Pleased to meet you. Un plaisir de vous rencontrer. Un plaisir de vous rencontrer. Or even un plaisir. A pleasure. Un plaisir. Un plaisir. Other forms to show your interests when you're greeting in French are Je m'appelle Julie. My name is Julie. Je m'appelle Julie. Je m'appelle Julie. You can then say C'est un très joli prénom. It's a really pretty name. C'est un très joli prénom. C'est un très joli prénom. Another example is Je suis photographe. I'm a photographer. Je suis photographe. Je suis photographe. You can respond with Génial! Quel genre de photo? Great! What kind of photos? Génial! Quel genre de photo? Génial! Quel genre de photo? And J'ai 40 ans. I'm 40 years old. J'ai 40 ans. J'ai 40 ans. You may then say Vraiment? Tu fais beaucoup plus jeune. Really? You look so much younger. Vraiment? Tu fais beaucoup plus jeune. Vraiment? Tu fais beaucoup plus jeune. The last tip we want to share with you is for you to start a conversation in French. You're likely to make a good first impression if you at least try to converse in French. It doesn't matter if your French isn't polished. They will appreciate you for trying. Saying bonjour, hello, bonjour, bonjour. Or, je ne parle pas français. I don't speak French. Je ne parle pas français. Je ne parle pas français is better than not being able to speak any French words at all. Now on to part 5. How can FrenchPod 101 help you? By teaching you French and getting you to speak from your very first lesson. FrenchPod 101's lessons build you up from your first words to mastering entire conversations. And you get lessons for all levels, from absolute beginner to advanced. Enough to take you from knowing zero to speak fluently. You can also learn with your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll correct your French, tell you how to improve your speaking, writing, and grammar, and even help you practice for job interviews in French. In this lesson, you learned how to greet in French in casual and formal manner, the most common types of question and answers, example of introduction lines, and how to leave a good first impression when meeting a French person for the first time.
Remember, here's what you can do to learn all of these words by heart. Drill these words with our spaced repetition flashcards, which will help cement these words into your long-term memory. Save them to the word bank, your personal vocabulary collection, where you can print out your own study sheets, or review the words with our looped vocabulary slideshow, and play it until you know all of the words. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to get these lessons and study tools.